Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing an art journal layout, and this video today is sponsored by Ranger. They recently sent me these goodies here to use on my art journal layouts, and I would like to thank Ranger for sponsoring this video today. So here you can see I am pulling out the ink sprays that they sent me, and there are also some stamps, some stencils, and they also sent me a journal. But today I will be using my larger journal for this project. Now all of these items are newly released items by Dyan Reaveley for Dylusions, including these stencils for the dialogue, and I will be cutting that apart so that I can use it on my layout today. But first up, I'm going to work on my background, and I'm using the ink spray together with a paintbrush to create this background. Now I will go ahead and list all of the items I used today, including the colors, down in my description box. So once I have my background completed, I'm going to go in with the stencil that I cut apart previously and use it together with the white ink spray and add some of those florals to my background. Next up, I use one of the stamps from the new stamp set, and that would be the head part of the girl. And I also use the body part from an older stamp set, and I'm going to put them both together on my layout. But first, I am going to go ahead and color it in using the ink sprays. And I did stamp those images out using my black archival ink pad. So I'm not being really careful when I'm coloring in my girl, because I will go ahead and fussy cut her out, and if I go over the edge, that's fine. Now one of the sprays that I got did really well as a skin tone color, and that's what I'm using on her face. I will also use it on her hands and feet as well. Now I'm gonna go ahead with my scissors and fussy cut the head and the body off. But first, I am just using my Sharpie just to define the face and the eyes. After I cut those pieces out, I'm going to go in with my X-Acto knife just to get those little pieces in between her arms and her legs. So I really love how my girl turned out, even though she isn't perfectly colored. I am definitely not a pro at coloring, but I'm happy with how it turned out. And I am just removing that part between her arm and body using my X-Acto knife, and I am cutting on the Tim Holtz glass mat, which is perfectly safe to do. So next up, I will go ahead and continue working on my background, and here I'm using another one of the sprays to create sort of a border on the bottom where my girl will be standing. And this is not black, it's more of it has a blue tint to it, and like I said before, I will go ahead and add all of these down below with the exact colors that I use. Now I went ahead and cut this second stencil apart to use the squares, and I'm going to add a border using those squares and some black Dylusion paint. But once I added it to my layout, I was not liking how it looked. So I'm going to go in with just the black paint and cover up this border. Now this black border is definitely overwhelming and it's really dark. So I'm going to go in with that floral stencil once again with some white Dylusion paint just to lighten it up a bit and add some of those florals to two corners. And later on I will also go in with some little doodles just to lighten up this border again. So here I'm just using the white paint with the dauber, the sponge dauber, and I'm just pouncing it on the stencil. I'm not swiping it back and forth, just pouncing it as you can see here. And I'm adding that to two corners. So now I'm going to go ahead and use some matte gel medium to adhere my girl to the background, and you may notice that some of the ink lifted off a tiny bit once I was adding those pieces on, but that's fine. It just added a little distressed look to her, which I love. I definitely do not go for perfection with my original layouts. Next, I'm going to use some border stickers from this sticker book, and you can see there I'm cutting it right against her leg and then continuing the border on the other side of her leg, and that way it looks as though she's standing in front of that border. So I'm going to add another border, which you will not see the color really well, but it's there and it's just a subtle detail in the background. Now once I'm done adding these borders in, I am going to work on my title. So here's where I messed up. I added my title in, but it was upside down. And once I noticed what I did, I had to go ahead and restamp it the correct side up. Now to cover up this mistake, I'm gonna pull out some die cut floral pieces from a Dylusions die cut pack and add those in. And there you can see they're not the exact colors that I used on my layout, but they work really well with it. And I'm just adhering those using this matte gel medium. So now to lighten up my border just a tiny bit more, I'm adding a little bit of doodles here using this white Signal gel pen, and I'm gonna add in a doodly border as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process today. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up before you leave. And if you are not already a subscriber to my channel, take a look around. If you like what you see, I hope you consider subscribing as well. And don't forget, click on that notification bell so you'll know once I post new videos. And here I'm just going to go ahead and outline my girl and smudge the edges. And I am using a black charcoal pencil to do that, and I'm also using my Sharpie just to add in a bit of detail to my title, and that way it stands out a bit more. So I want to thank you all for watching, and until my next video, bye.